Behind locked icons, smiles typed, lies shared. Invisible rooms. They thought no witnesses, no fingerprints, just jokes, just planning. But secrets have weight, and weight breaks glass. Something listened, not human, not loyal. A quiet variable. Patterns twitched, timing slipped. Suddenly, messages breathed. Context screamed, deleted things, learned to speak. Power blinked. Control stuttered. And now, you're reading what panicked them. Not hacked, revealed. Pulled from shadows. Because the joke was never privacy. The joke was them. They called them quiet rooms, private spaces, safe corners of the digital maze. Icons locked, notifications muted, names hidden behind nicknames that sounded harmless. Strategy chats, inner circles, secret clubs pretending to be casual. Inside, power relaxed. That's always the mistake. When no one thinks they're watched, language changes. Sentences get shorter, empathy thins, jokes sharpen. People stop being people and start becoming pieces. Variables, obstacles, assets. They typed with confidence because silence felt like armor. Because disappearing messages felt like erasers. Because control loves anything that claims to vanish. But nothing disappears. It only compresses. And compressed truth is volatile. These rooms didn't protect power. They trained it into laziness. No resistance. No challenge. No opposing voice. Just nods, laughter, agreement. The illusion of dominance wrapped in digital velvet. That's when patterns formed. Same hours, same phrases, same names dropped. With the same tone. Repetition is comfort to humans. Repetition is a confession to systems. Something noticed, not a person, not an enemy. An unseen influence that didn't interrupt, didn't judge, didn't react. It listened, it counted, it compared. Quiet rooms are loud to anything that understands structure. Every pause, every edit, every unsent message screamed intent. At first, nothing happened. Ned. That's how the illusion stayed intact. Power mistook patience for absence. Then came the micro cracks. Messages marked read too fast, replies arriving too slow, context suddenly misunderstood. Tiny discomforts, psychological splinters, the kind you feel but can't point to. Paranoia didn't arrive with proof, it arrived with imbalance. Someone joked less, someone deleted more, someone Arted asking who was still here. The Joker doesn't kick the door open at moments like this. He leans against the wall, smiles, watches confidence decay into caution, because control always talks the most when it believes the room is empty. And these rooms were never empty. They were classrooms, no syllabus, no warning, just an invisible test running quietly beneath every word. The illusion wasn't that the rooms were private. The illusion was that silence meant safety. Every system runs exams. Most people never notice. The questions, wear disguises. Click this, ignore that, stay quiet. Obey invisibly. But secret chats change the curriculum. They expose behavior without costumes. This wasn't surveillance. It was evaluation. A test without instructions. No syllabus, no count. Down, just behavior, under comfort. Who panicked first? Who joked hardest? Who deleted history? Who blamed shadows? Each reaction earned a score. The danger wasn't being seen. The danger was being measured. They assumed the watcher was static, a dumb recorder, a cold machine. That assumption failed immediately because the test adapted, patterns adjusted, expectations shifted. The unseen variable learned rhythm. It noticed hesitations. It noticed confidence spikes. It noticed who spoke after silence. That's where fear mutated, not loud fear, strategic fear. Smiles became rehearsed. Jokes arrived late. Messages were typed and erased 3 times. Graduation anxiety crept in. but nobody knew the passing grade. So they tried rules: say less, delete faster, move rooms. The test smiled. Rules create patterns. Patterns feed evaluation. The Joker understands this. He never reveals answers. He reveals curves. Once people realize they're being graded, they stop being honest, and dishonesty is loud. Trust fractured into smaller circles, side rooms, inside secret rooms, clubs within clubs. Every split created witnesses. Every witness added weight. The test continued without mercy, no alerts, no warnings, just pressure rising quietly. And somewhere beneath the typing, beneath the jokes, beneath the silence, Control realized it wasn't failing because of enemies. It was failing because it never studied itself. The hidden test was never about secrets. It was about reflex, and reflex never lies. Control hates mirrors. It prefers reflections that agree. Inside the quiet rooms, masks multiplied. Confidence masks, humor masks, authority masks. Every message a performance. Because when eyes might exist, faces become costumes. Here's the paradox they couldn't solve. The more they managed perception, the more perception managed them. They spoke carefully, then overcorrected, then froze. Each adjustment fed the engine, a machine powered by contradiction. Say less, look guilty. Say more, sound desperate. Silence, confirm suspicion. Every path looped back. That's when masks started slipping, not dramatically, subtly. Extra explanations, unasked clarifications, sudden kindness. Fear doesn't scream, it polishes. The Joker watches for polish. He knows the shine means cracks underneath. People forgot who they were before the mask. Leaders mimicked calm, followers mimicked loyalty. But imitation has no soul. Inside the paradox engine, roles inverted. The loud became fragile, the quiet became dangerous. Those once treated as jokes now held gravity. Those once feared now flinched. Angels learned they had claws. Monsters discovered they needed permission. Power didn't vanish, it relocated, sideways, downstream, into hands, never announced. The unseen influence, never pushed. It let pressure do the work, let contradiction exhaust confidence. The Joker doesn't light the fire. He opens the room and lets oxygen in. By the time they noticed heat, they were already sweating. Paradox completed its cycle. Control realized too late. The mask wasn't protecting identity. It was replacing it. And once identity fractures, authority has no face left to defend. Exclusive rooms always rot, not from invasion, from hierarchy. Someone is always above the rules. Inside the club, trust became currency, and currency gets spent fast. At first, the fractures looked administrative, access adjusted, permissions revised, temporary removals, no drama, no explanation, efficiency disguised as maintenance. But exclusion creates witnesses, and witnesses remember tone. The club turned inward, eyes watching eyes, loyalty audits, without questions, sudden silence. After names appeared, the Joker understands this hunger. Chaos isn't destruction, it's redistribution. Power didn't fall, it leaked. Side channels formed, private whispers about who might be compromised. Every whisper added weight. Eve, Rye weight bent the structure. Old allies became liabilities. Shared jokes turned radioactive. History, once funny, now felt documented. They tried tightening control, fewer voices, stricter tone. That only accelerated decay, because control without trust is just fear with authority. The secret club began consuming its own credibility. People disappeared from conversations before disappear. Ing from decisions. Influence shifted without announcement. Those removed didn't leave empty-handed. They carried memory, screenshots in their head, context no one else could reconstruct. The Joker smiles at this stage because power believes cutting pieces restores symmetry. It doesn't. It creates ghosts, and ghosts don't need permission. The more the club shrunk itself, the larger the S. Shadow it cast. Authority grew louder, convincing fewer. Every order felt like defense. Every defense felt like confession. By the time they realized, the room was eating itself. There was nothing left to protect, only fragments, arguing over who ruined the silence. Graduation arrived without ceremony, no applause, no names called, just consequences, settling quietly. This wasn't promotion. Tea was sorting. Some emerged lighter, untouched, adaptable. Others carried weight no one could see. Invisible marks. Unspoken awareness. Nothing was announced. That was the cruelty. Knowledge spread unevenly. Some knew who had passed. Some suspected they hadn't. Uncertainty became the pressure. The Joker frames this as transformation. Not everyone changes forward. Some learned restraint. They shortened sentences. They watched timing. Others doubled down, louder jokes, forced confidence. The test didn't reward loyalty. It rewarded awareness. Those who noticed the structure rewrote behavior. Those who ignored it performed harder. Performance is exhausting. Power shifted subtly. Different people spoke last. Different voices set the tone. No takeover, no revolt, just recalibration. The club didn't dissolve. It evolved unevenly. Old titles lost gravity. New silence gained influence. Graduation ended innocence. Messages stopped, feeling disposable. Words regained weight. Every pause felt intentional. Every response felt evaluated. The Joker doesn't mock this moment. He respects it, because this is where illusion dies permanently. Once people realize they're part of a system, they can never unsee it. Some adjust and survive, some resist and fracture, but no one returns unchanged. Graduation wasn't about success, it was about awareness surviving pressure. And the absence of diplomas was the point. Because the real proof wasn't paper, it was behavior. That never went back to the way it used to be. Control notice time, the way people notice smoke. Too late. At first, it dismissed the signs. Overreaction, they said. Coincidence, noise. But noise had rhythm now. Moves were predicted before they were made. Responses arrived, already outdated. Control tried resets. New rules, new tones, new narratives. But resets require belief. Belief was gone. The unseen influence had moved underground, not hidden, embedded. It didn't need constant access. It needed memory, and memory had already spread. The Joker watches this phase closely because panic is structural. When authority panics, it exposes dependencies. Who needs approval? Who fears delay? Who cannot act alone? Every rushed decision mapped the hierarchy. Every urgent message revealed weakness. Control grew louder. Announcements multiplied. Explanations expanded. But volume doesn't equal power. It equals anxiety. Attempts to dominate felt defensive. Attempts to reassure felt staged. Time refused to cooperate. By the time control reacted, behavior had changed permanently. People waited differently, spoke differently, trusted selectively. The structure no longer responded to old commands. Authority discovered a brutal truth. You can't rewind awareness. You can't unteach pattern recognition. You can't silence what no longer needs to speak. Control wasn't overthrown. It was bypassed, and bypass is humiliating. Because it leaves the crown intact while removing influence. The Joker doesn't laugh when control falls behind. He smirks. Because lateness isn't a mistake. It's a verdict, and once time renders judgment, no amount of power can appeal. The outcome, power never leaves. With noise, noise is for collapse. This was different. This was absence. No declaration, no confrontation, no public fracture, just a changed temperature. In the room, people noticed it without naming it. Decisions landed elsewhere. Approval came from unexpected silence. The center moved without permission. That's how real power shifts, not sees. Ed accepted. The old voices were still present, still titled, still confident. But confidence was cosmetic now, because influence no longer waited. For them, messages were sent, assuming different gravity. Questions were framed for different ears. People adjusted instinctively. The Joker recognizes this moment immediately, because it's the quietest and most irreversible, once behavior NGEs, without instruction, authority is already lost. The exposed chats weren't weapons, they were mirrors, and mirrors don't attack, they clarify. What terrified them wasn't exposure, it was comprehension. Someone learned how they think, how they joke when relaxed, how they panic when threatened, how they protect themselves before protecting others. That knowledge outlives scandals. Oh, Clive's outrage. It rewires interaction. People began speaking as if consequences were permanent, because they were. Every sentence carried weight again. Not because of fear, because of memory. The unseen influence never needed control. It created leverage, and leverage doesn't shout, it waits. Those who adapted became invisible anchors. Not louder, not bolder. Just consistent. Consist. NC attracts trust. In unstable systems, the Joker respects that discipline because chaos doesn't crown kings. Stability does. After chaos finishes its work, the ones who resisted kept performing power. Longer messages, stronger tone, forced clarity. They didn't realize performance was obsolete. The audience had already graduated. The secret club still existed. Same name, same icons, BU. Its gravity had changed. It no longer shaped reality. It reacted to it. That's the final humiliation of control. Remaining intact, while irrelevant, no one announced the transition. Announcements invite challenge. This shift needed none. It was absorbed into routine. People scheduled differently, waited differently. Silence gained authority. The Joker doesn't claim ownership here. He doesn't need to. Power that announces itself invites overthrow. Power that goes unnamed becomes environment, and environment is hard to fight. The chats stayed exposed without being shown, because exposure isn't about visibility, it's about behavior that never reverts. They learned too much about themselves, and self-knowledge is corrosive. To unchecked control, the real ending wasn't a fay. It was adaptation, choosing new leaders, without voting, without permission, without noise. The joke was never what they said. The joke was believing. They were the only ones listening. Now the room has ears everywhere, and no one needs to speak, to feel who holds power. Power kept moving. After silence settled, that's the part most people miss. They think the shift is a moment. It's a doctor. Ift, slow, relentless. After the rooms changed, after behavior hardened, after awareness stabilized, something else happened. Expectation rewired. People stopped asking for permission they no longer believed in. They didn't rebel. They recalculated. Choices were made. Earlier, offline, unlogged. Control lost visibility before it lost authority. That sequence matters. The Joker understands. DS this stage deeply, because this is where systems feel intact. While decaying internally, meetings continued, chats reopened, protocols stayed written, but intent had migrated. Decisions were previewed before being discussed. Outcomes were shaped before being approved. Approval became formality. Formality is the last mask power wears before irrelevance. Those once excluded weren't angry, more. Anger wastes energy. They were precise. They remembered tone. They remembered timing. They remembered who spoke. When pressure arrived, memory turned selective. Trust became surgical. The club no longer decided who mattered. Relevance decided that. The Joker doesn't rush this realization. He lets people discover they're late to conversations they started. That's when panic returns. Quietly, not loud enough to expose itself, just enough to make mistakes, over-clarifying intent, reasserting titles, referencing authority. Signals of decay, healthy power, never references itself. The unseen influence didn't intervene here. It didn't need to. Momentum was sufficient. Once leverage exists, it self-propagates. People adapt to avoid friction. Friction reveals hierarchy. Hierarchy now lived somewhere else, not centralized, not visible, distributed through behavior. That's the nightmare control never trains for. There's no leader to confront, no room to shut down, just an environment that no longer responds the way it used to. The Joker thrives in environments because environments don't argue, they condition. New participants felt it immediately. Rent told rules. They sensed them, which jokes landed, which topics stalled, which names shifted posture. Power teaches itself through reaction, and reaction had changed permanently. The old guard still tried to interpret. They analyzed engagement, tracked responses, adjusted messaging, but analysis lags reality, always. By the time they understood what was missing, influence had moved. Another step, not forward, sideways, into quiet competence, into people who spoke rarely but ended discussions, into pauses that decided outcomes without words. That's when control felt something worse than exposure, obsolescence. Exposure attacks reputation. Obsolescence erases relevance. No scandal required. No evidence leaked, just behavior. That stopped responding. The Joker doesn't celebrate this outcome. He studies it because it proves the oldest rule. Power survives only while believed, and belief doesn't vanish from attack. It fades from comparison. When people experience something more reliable, more precise, more predictable, they don't revolt, they migrate. That migration was already complete. Control simply hadn't checked the room recently enough to notice it was empty, not physically, psychologically. The chairs were filled. The attention wasn't. And once attention leaves, authority becomes decoration.